Beerzerker. Got us the Irish whiskey cask, Scottish oatmeal stout, with hints of vanilla coffee and chocolate, aged 51 days, coming in 6.1% alcohol by volume in a 500 milliliter can. Matured for mellowness. Alright. Anyway, I do not know if this beer is different than the Irish whiskey cask I had previously. Several times, Innis and Gunn seems to brew solid beer. I don't know if it was oatmeal before, so we'll say. It was years ago when I had it. I'm a fan of Irish whiskey and Irish stout, and oatmeal stouts at that. So, let's give it a pour. So in the old days, Innis and Gunn was one of the first breweries we had here. Just coming out like that, I guess you call it the 90s craft brewery phase. This is kind of like one of the first, I guess this being from, I shouldn't say where this is from before I look at it. I'm assuming this is from Scotland, I believe. Product of Scotland, yes. In Canada, returned for blah blah blah. Yeah, so I was right. It's from Scotland. So anyway, let's give it a pour. Well, give it a pour. So what we got is this nice, call it a beigey, dark beige head. Not a whole lot of aroma through there, but it's smelling like an Irish stout, but a little bit, a little funkiness from the oak and stuff. Yeah, that's really good. Really good. Really dry. Got that dry, roasty sootiness you want. Good mouthfeel. Smooth on the way down. I always said if you got upset stomach, drink a stout. Actually, it's like it's far better than Pepto-Bismol. Anyway, I have stuff to say about Innis and Gunn. Yes, they did a traditional English IPA. And out of all the traditional English IPAs I've tried that were labeled traditional English IPAs, it was the only one that I think was actually a traditional English IPA. There's other beers that are traditional English IPAs. Old English, for example. Closer than a lot of other breweries actually get to. And I tried the oldest brewery in England, Shepherd Neame & Co. I got halfway through and said, hey, wait a minute, this is malt liquor. And it was. Wow. Now this is a little bit colder than I probably should be drinking. I was going to take it out and I forgot. But it's really good cold too. I'm not getting a ton of, at least not yet. Maybe when it warms up I get a little more of the Irish whiskey. I do like Irish whiskey though. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. These guys have done all kinds of cast things. I tried one they did with maple syrup and some kind of breakfast. It's actually really good. I'm not... And they usually come in bottles. That's what I was going to do. This is the first time I've had this in a can. I believe. I mean, I do believe. And we used to have the rum cask finish. So after the first beers we got that were anything besides American pale lager or maybe a Euro lager, we had some local brown ale. You could get Newcastle brown, of course Guinness. We'd all drink the Guinness before, and Rickard's Red. And after that, this was kind of like one of the first beers on the scene that was something other than Euro lager. So this kind of predated or was at the very forefront of what you'd call the craft beer revolution. Whether you call this craft beer or not, I'm not sure. But they were the first ones barrel aging. I don't know. I'm actually throwing barrels. I wouldn't do that, but because you can just like soak oak chips and throw them in. But maybe I can't. Maybe they do actually throw them in barrels. It's a lot of work if you are throwing it in actual like 50-gallon oak casks that have been used for Irish whiskey or rum or whatever before. That's a lot of work to break it down into the small containers, and then so I don't know what they actually do. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not. I'm not gonna. I don't care how they do it as long as it tastes good. Like it doesn't. Some people get really picky about that type of shit. They're like, it's not actually in a barrel. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter as long as the process works or whatever. I gotta say, the mouthfeel and the carbonation and the texture of this beer is amazing. And this is what's really blowing me. And that's important too, like in something like a stout where you don't want it carbonated wrong. You don't want it like too watery or whatever. And the sootiness, it's really, I would highly recommend that beer. Of course, listening to just a fucking commercial. Fuck, I tried. I didn't do that last time. Listening to Irish music, Irish rock and roll. Damn, that is. It's not like a flavor bomb. It's not like a huge. But I'm getting the oakiness and stuff. Now it's kind of warming up a little bit. I'm kind of getting used to it. It's kind of like a sweet, woody character to it. But the texture and the mouthfeel of this beer is top notch. They're fucking perfect. You couldn't ask for a better stout, like out of a can or whatever. Like, I mean, holy shit. Yeah, now I'm getting a lot of oak. I'm not getting. Irish whiskey is kind of more of a subtle whiskey. It's triple distilled. It's more of like a yellow in color. It's not brown like Scotch. And I like it like that. And it's smooth. And it's kind of sweet because they put it in sherry casks and port casks. And then they blend it again. I've tried Jameson and Bushmills, and I do have a new bottle of Irish whiskey that I've been meaning to try. I can't remember the name of it. It's something different than those two because I've had those many times before, and they're both really good. It tastes very similar to me. There's not a whole lot of difference, but I got a new one here. I'm gonna try. I can't remember. 12 something with some kind of reindeer on it or something. Anyway, I'm really liking this beer. I was glad because I went to the beer store. Now the craft revolution is really dying down. So we used to have a store that had 1,000 beers in it. I shit you not. You had a whole wall of Belgian, all kinds of like amazing selection, and then all the IPA stuff. Like now, the selection is way smaller. So this was one of the only single cans or bottles that I could even get. Everything's in 4-packs now, and the price is really high, which pissed me off because I got an infected 4-pack and of IPA, so I gotta take that back. And that's damn near $20. And I was like, fuck it. I'll buy one of these Innis and Gunns because I've never, like I said, I don't know if they still do it, but if they redo that IPA, and it was hopped with I think Styrian Goldings, dry hopped with Goldings, and you wouldn't think that would be awesome, but it was amazing. It was really good. They had a wheat beer. They also did that I was like, and I don't hate wheat beers or whatever, but I'm not like Mr. fucking wheat beer. And I was like fucking really impressed. It was a white oak wheat or something, and then they had that one. But everyone I know that tried this from the previous time, I'm not sure if it was the same exact recipe with the oatmeal, which adds mouthfeel, makes the beer thicker. And for all you homebrewers out there, give you a tip on oatmeal. If you're mashing like in a cooler, and you're getting stuck sparge from the oatmeal, and you can do this with other adjuncts as well. Just boil it in a separate pot, and then run it through a strainer, like a straining screen, and then just dump it in your boil kettle. Bypass your mash tun altogether. And it'll save you a stuck sparge. And if you need to heat it up, like let's say you're heating up, fuck you. What was I saying now? Yeah, the 160 degrees will convert your starches to sugar for a certain amount of time, and I'm trying to think, what was that about? Corn? Yeah, that'll convert corn or whatever you have to be using. No, whatever, but it works for corn. It probably works for fucking other shit too. You don't need to throw a ton of oatmeal in, but it does add a lot of mouthfeel beer. This one is pretty smooth, you know what I'm saying? If you ever have the old engine oil, that's why it's so smooth. It's oatmeal. Oatmeal's cheap, you know. Also, if you are mashing the mash tun, apparently rolled oats work better. So. I gotta say, it's got a little bit of metallic finish. I don't mind that. I don't really like. It doesn't like bother me or anything because I kind of expect that with stouts a little bit too, especially with these dry Irish ones. You kind of. I don't know. I almost expect that with the sootiness right at the very finish, a little bit of the penny or yog or bad penny. So I don't mind that in a lot of these styles of ales. A little bit of the penny, copper penny taste. Now I'm getting more, as it's warming up, getting more oak and more whiskey. Kind of that whiskey mouth feel, that not like the thinness of the whiskey, but the thickness of the whiskey, like the residue of the liquor or whatever. I don't know. I don't drink a lot of whiskey, but I've drank enough whiskey to know what I'm saying, but you probably don't make sense. I don't know. I'm getting the whiskey, is what I'm trying to say, in the mouthfeel. And this beer's a texture extravaganza. Right now, the aroma's getting really interesting. Wow, this is a really good beer. And I was always impressed with the Innis Gunn Irish Whiskey Stout. Irish Whiskey Cask. Especially with the sootiness on this one. Like I like a little bit of that charcoal sootiness in the finish. And it's not like a heavy porter. It is like light enough bodied and everything. Wow, I'll tell you. I'm trying to think if Innis Gunn ever brewed a beer that I didn't like. I don't think I've ever had anything from them that I'd call bad. There might be some I preferred more than others, for sure. But a couple of the beers they've done, every once in a while, they really surprise you with the absolute banger, fucking. And I'm glad I saw this. I don't know if they've been continually offering this, and it hasn't changed since I've had it. Since I must have been drinking this back in like 2014, 15, or whenever they brought it out. But it wasn't one of their first ones. It came later. Yeah, rum finish was one we drank, and then what the hell was the other one? There was like three. There was three types that we used to drink when this first came out, and shit, that'd be in the. I don't even know how many years ago. That was a long time ago. Do you remember the rum cask? And there's two more, but I cannot remember what the hell they were called. Wow, as this warms up, it's really getting interesting from the oaking and with the whiskey and that. It's really rounding out and getting extremely, like, a lot more complex real fast. Yeah, I'm getting way more barrel now, like less sootiness, and it just like switched into like its barrel mode and getting kind of that uh like whiskey residue, honey type, and then all that woodiness and like the tannic kind of astringency out of the wood, but it's not like a sharp tannic thing. It's just like mild and soft. Wow, I don't know. I'm really going off of this beer. But I do really like fucking stouts though. I really do. And Irish stouts. But when I brew stout, you know what I never really do the traditional Irish stout. I did brew a traditional Irish red, except I put nugget in at the end, which isn't really a traditional Irish hop, and we'll see how it turns out. But needs something more like Glacier, or something like that would work really good. But this is, yeah, well, hop wise, this is not particularly hoppy. Yeah, you can't even get any hop. I'm sure there's hops in it or whatever, but like there's probably just some Goldings or something in here. The beer is so interesting. It has enough bitterness with the you probably need less bitterness with a stout because you get bitterness out of the dark roast, and it's a light body beer, so there's not a whole lot of maltiness. Hops are used to counteract maltiness. If you brew like, let's say, a India Pale Ale, traditional like West Coast style or East Coast or whatever, and you don't have enough hops in it, it'll be like drinking a cup of butter tarts. You won't be able to do it. So you'll have to throw some. Hopefully you kegged it or something, and then you'll be able to dry hop the keg with some aroma hops. If that ever happens. But I just had another IPA before I got the 4-pack of beers that are infected and blew up. I had fucking foam everywhere, and I poured it. I was like, oh shit, maybe they just overfilled it because sorry, that's the last 4-pack. And I thought, hey, well, the 4-pack I got from a local brewery was overfilled, and so they kind of like fucking whatever. But there you could tell, like they're right to the brim of the can. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I drank it, the first 4-pack, English IPA. It's drinkable, whatever, but it did have that maltiness, a lot of maltiness, and it's an English IPA, but these American hops in it, I don't know what the fuck, right? But anyway, I'm pretty sure it had like an English ale yeast, but it was watery, but yet too malty, and yet hoppy, but not hoppy enough. It was like they had invisible hops in it. It was like they were bittering, American bittering hops. You could get that, but it was like they kind of didn't really like have the pungency to get through the malt somehow. But they were definitely like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, it was kind of a shit beer, but it wasn't horrible. Like I could drink it. I was like, oh, it's not the greatest, but it's not, it's drinkable, whatever. And it's like this other 4-pack. But these are like actually infected. So the fucking shit, like fucking foam everywhere. So I fucking pour it in a mug. Getting a nice head. The beer looks great, right? I smell it. Like it smells kind of weird. Like I can't even describe it. It smelled kind of okay. It didn't smell like rotten shit or anything like that. It was just smelled kind of weird, What the hell's that? So you know what IPA you got like fucking big rocky head on it. So take a drink. It tasted like kind of okay, but kind of not okay. Like in a really weird way that I've never tasted before. I was like, what the hell? And then I kind of felt weird to drink a couple of drinks. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. So I'm taking it back. You better take the beer back. I said, look here. I'm a beer expert. I know how to taste out Innis and Guns and everything. Give me give me a new 4-pack. Anyway, they're like almost $20 for 4 beers, 4 tall cans. My whole point was they don't sell single cans anymore hardly. And they're trying to juice you on these 4-packs, right? And I'm even having a hard time finding a lot of bombers now too. So it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? That's like 650 bomber would be great because I used to be able to just 650 bombers everywhere. Probably the best thing to do, especially if you're in a homebrew, because you just reuse the 650 bombers all the time. I fucking hate kegging. I'm contemplating selling the keg setup. It fucking is bullshit. I go to get CO2. It's like you can't. And then if your bottle's old, they want you to redo it. It's like, that's like shit. They want another $80 to recertify the bottle. Fuck that shit. I am not doing that. No fucking. I said, look, buddy, I'm not paying $140 for some CO2. Get the fuck out of here. I certified the bottle. I only did so many kegs, and I stopped kegging because it's bullshit. It's not. I think bottling is easier. So if you're no homebrew, I'm telling you right now, bottling is fuck. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. So anyway, kegging is fucking stupid. It's like in Canada, yeah. So I go get propane. It's like $40 a bottle now. That's what the sign said. I'm gonna go check because I don't believe that, but yet I kind of believe that. Like at $40 a bottle of propane, how the fuck am I gonna barbecue? The fuck is wrong with it? $40. You get to learn how to brew old fashioned on a wood fire boil kettle, which will cost you nickels. That's what I'm like. I'm like, fuck you. But now I have to buy a new kettle because if you got a whatever kettle and you don't have much headspace, how are you going to control a boil over on a fire, for fuck's sakes? Like, what are you going to do? That's the whole thing. Exactly. You got to have headspace in the kettle. You got to have a kettle that's like fucking at least like 10 gallons or something. But then you go get a 10-gallon keg and it's like really wide. I don't know. It's like you have to, nowadays, you have to like literally like forge your own kettle to start from scratch. Like you look at vessels for growlers are more money empty than they are full. Come on, who's gonna buy an empty growler when you can buy one full of beer? Nobody. Well, some people. They're fucking like, I don't know. I don't understand that. Man, so it's not like a regular Irish stout at the finish at all. I'm getting now. That's why I did the whole red. Yeah, it's a whole big thing just so I let the beer warm up. Now it's getting like, wow, really oaky, whiskey. The mouth feels no longer sharp. It's like really smooth and like, yeah, this is a really neat beer. Anyway. Damn. That was really cool. I'll give that beer 11 out of 11. I don't really know. I mean, brew a better one. I mean, that would be tough. That would be tough to top that beer. To brew a better Irish whiskey cask stout, oatmeal stout than that. I mean, that was really good. 11 out of 11. Beerzerker, and I'm out. Yeah.